Now this bath bomb is absolutely amazing. From the time that I dropped it into the tub, it took over 8 minutes for this to fully dissolve. This is absolutely wild. It is such an amazing bath bomb, and it is the best bath bomb recipe that I have ever made. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your own bath bomb, a bath bomb that is hard and solid and slow releasing. It is absolutely amazing, not to mention it smells so good. Without further ado, let's dive in. Let's go over all the ingredients, why we use them, everything like that. So the first ingredient that we're going to go over is baking soda. Baking soda and citric acid work together. They are the bulk of any bath bomb, and the reason why they're used is baking soda and citric acid, when they're put together and they're introduced to water, they're going to create that fizz. You know, when you put a bath bomb in the water and it starts to fizzy up on you, that's because of the reaction from baking soda and water. It is kind of like a dry form of, remember when we used to make those volcanoes in school and you'd put the baking soda and then you dump the vinegar? Same idea, it's just in powder form. Now, although we love that fizziness, and that's the main part about a bath bomb, you really want to slow it down just a little bit, right? You want this to last as long as possible, and you really want the theatrics of a bath bomb. That's half the fun. So we add a little bit of Epsom salt. Now, Epsom salt is not only going to harden your bath bomb a little bit more, it's also going to slow down the reaction. So it's going to make the fizziness happen slower, make your bath bomb last a little bit longer. Now, along the same lines of hardening up your bath bomb, we're going to add a little bit of kaolin clay. That's just going to be a little bit of a fixative, really make it be a solid bath bomb. It also helps to anchor the fragrance oil for you so your scent can last a lot longer. So SLSA, I know that can be a little bit controversial, so use it if you'd like to. You don't have to by any means. The reason why I put it in this product is I like that it adds a little bit of bubbling. So what the SLSA is going to do is it's going to go ahead and it's going to help to disperse the lake dye in our bath to really get that color all the way through the bath and just a little bit of bubbles in there. It's not like a bubble bath or anything like that, just the slightest little bit of bubble, and it helps to disperse the color. And then I add just a little bit of sweet almond oil, and that's just to add a little bit of moisture into our bath bomb. However, the thing that you don't want is you don't want your tub to be slippery. Like, you don't want to create a slip and slide in there, and you also don't want that ring around your tub. So the next ingredient that we use is polysorbate 80. Now, polysorbate 80 helps to emulsify. So what that's going to do is that's going to prevent the oiliness of the bath bomb. So it's going to take the oil, it's going to mix it into your bath. It's also going to grab the color and prevent it from sticking around your tub. I don't know if you've ever used a bath bomb that doesn't have some polysorbate 80, but you wind up with a ring around your tub and an absolute mess. So this ingredient is super, super important. I highly recommend using it. And then a really important ingredient in any bath bomb is going to be the binder. Now, you can use either witch hazel or rubbing alcohol. Either is fine. Go ahead and pop it into a spray bottle. My personal preference is always witch hazel. I just have better results with witch hazel than I do with rubbing alcohol. Now, this is a very, very delicate process. When you're using it, use it sparingly. I'm going to walk you through how to use it, but just know that you're going to want it in a spray bottle. Kind of dumping it in isn't going to work. So make sure that you have it in a spray bottle that you can easily disperse it in. Without further ado, let's dive in. Let's make the most wonderful, hard, slow release bath bomb. We're going to grab a large mixing bowl, add the baking soda, citric acid, Epsom salt, kaolin clay, SLSA, sweet almond oil, polysorbate 80, and our fragrance oil. And at the same time, our lake dye. So when you're thinking about if you want to use mica powder or if you want to use lake dye, let me just show you the difference between mica powder and lake dye. So in this bowl, I'm going to mix up some mica powder. Now, mind you, the colors aren't exactly the same, but you can kind of see what color it would turn out. In the next bowl, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in a lake dye. Now, the colors aren't exactly the same shade, but you're going to be able to tell right away the difference in how much coloring you get. Okay, so can you see the difference here? Like the mica powder, even when I mix it up, it's a very light pastel-y color. It's going to be way lighter than this even in your bathtub. Now the lake dye, like I said, this was a little bit of a darker color, but see how dark the actual concentration is? This is going to make your bathtub significantly darker than if you just use mica powder. Now, one isn't necessarily better over the other. It's just what you're going for. So if you're fine with a very light pastel-y color or a very slight tint to your bath, go ahead and use a mica powder. If you want more of that darker refined color, make sure that you're using a lake dye. Now, what you're going to want to do is just come in and mix everything up really good. So to kind of deal with these clumps, you could put everything through a sifter first. I tend to just squeeze it in my hand. I figure I got to mix everything anyways. So I'll just come through and kind of pinch with my hand as I'm mixing. I think I got most of the clumps there. So what you're going to do is come in with either rubbing alcohol or witch hazel in a spray bottle. Give it a couple sprays, and then mix everything up. Now we do this a couple sprays at a time so it doesn't get too wet on us, and it looks like that might be. So the way that you test the consistency, so if you squeeze it together in your hands and you drop it and it holds its shape, that's how you know you're at the right consistency. You get it too wet, it's going to fizz up on you. And if you don't get it wet enough, it's just going to crumble. Come in with your bath bomb mold. As you can see, mine has seen better days, but it still molds. And I like to heap this one over. Have a heaping pile there. And really press it together. There's your bath bomb. And we're just going to continue to do that. So here I thought I got a big bowl, and I should have really probably got a bigger one. And we're going to do the same thing. That one didn't feel like I had enough. Hold on. You want to make sure you have enough product in there so it gets a tight mold. And then to release it, I just squeeze the container a wee little bit and it kind of pops right off. And no demo would be complete without showing how the bath bomb actually works. I allowed this to cool for about I allowed this to set up for about 24 hours before I put it into the tub, and I was absolutely impressed. So this went for over 8 minutes before it fully dissolved in the tub. I'm really impressed with the results, and I think you're going to be too. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed making and using your bath bomb as much as I did. If you haven't done so already, be sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, I do post the full printable recipe as well as substitutions on my blog. So if you're looking to swap out an ingredient and know what the effect is on your bath bomb, that is available on summerrain.website.